I would firstly like to congratulate 9am Stories for this brilliant venture and new initiative. A real estate industry is in its nascent stages as compared to other industries in terms of opening up. And you guys are doing a brilliant job in terms of getting the message across from developers out to the audience, and a basic interaction going on with all parts of society, including the government. So my best wishes to you. May the real estate industry be more open, more transparent, more communicative because of your venture. To talk about Haware Properties projects that we have recently launched, the newest two projects that I can talk about are Haware Pinnacle and Haware Paradise. Now, Haware Properties or the Haware Group, through its Nano housing initiatives, has always been in the lookout for new locations and new geographies. So, Kalyan is one such geography which was unventured from our group in the past. We looked at the new location from many aspects, including how the location will shape up the upcoming infrastructure, the budgets of the land costs, the budgets of the housing that will come up in the area. In all these aspects, it was one of the locations that is going to be best developed in the next 5 to 10 years. We started Haware Pinnacle as a nano housing project, and the response we got from the market was tremendous. We had earmarked about 21 days to execute our entire marketing strategy of the project, but the feedback from the market was so strong and so overwhelming that in a period of 7 to 8 days we had to stop the marketing activities because all the flats were sold out in the project. So it shows the blessings that our consumers, our customers have on us as the Haware brand. It shows the connect we have with the customers, and more importantly, it was the product and price that was rightly launched in the market, which resulted in the success of the project. If I talk about Haware Pinnacle, it was a nano housing project. Nano housing has three basic parameters. If I talk about nano housing, it's different from being low cost housing or cheap housing. Nano housing means firstly projects in a mass scale. So whenever we start a nano housing project, it has to be at least 500 or 1000 houses or more. And because of this scale, we achieve a lot of economies of scale and costs of production. For example, we buy cement and steel directly from the companies who manufacture them rather than going through dealers or distributors. We employ people like architects, consultants to work on a huge scale. So in terms of buying materials, in terms of costing of labor, in terms of the overall overheads of the project, including marketing costs, it works out to be more cost effective than other projects. Secondly is the efficiency in architectural planning. Our architects ensured that every square foot of area in the house is efficiently and effectively utilized so that there is no wastage. This results in an overall smaller square foot of a house. So the overall square footage of a house is smaller, although when a consumer enters a sample flat to inspect it, he will find that it is designed in such a way that all the amenities inside the house are efficiently planned. The third is the fundamental of the Haware Group, which is low margins and high volume. So we will always work on high volume of houses. Although our margins are low from every house, it means that much more discount passed on to the consumer. The end user is benefited in that way, and we work a volume game to result in overall turnover growth for the company. So these are the three parameters on which nano housing is based. It's a vision of our chairman, Mr. Suresh Haware, and he's been awarded nationally, internationally for his initiatives and is regarded as a pioneer of nano housing in the real estate industry. The second project we started was Haware Paradise in Kalyan. It is a sports themed nano housing project. Now it was started with a vision for the next generation. Now we look at a lot of kids. Children these days are lost in their mobile phones or iPads playing digital games. So we wanted to start a project which will inculcate a healthy lifestyle or a healthy habit. So what better aspect than for it to be a sports themed project. So we've included sports like cricket, tennis, basketball, football, kabaddi, swimming, jogging, table tennis, chess, air hockey. So we've included more than 10 or 12 sports in the project for the children to be busy, and the positioning or the tagline of the project is awaken the sports star in your child. So it is positioned in a way, a project which gives you amenities like sports amenities where you can inculcate healthy habits, you can have a sport induced lifestyle. We sold out the project in about 11 odd days, so 500 houses were booked in 11 days, and it was an overwhelming response our customers gave us. The Haware Group has been working in the housing industry now for more than 2.5 decades. The one place we want to contribute most, or we are contributing most, is the nano housing sector. Now there are two key aspects for us to having strategized into going into nano housing. One is the socially grounded management. So we are a group of people who believe that we want to contribute to society. Now what does society need most? We see that a lot of people in the middle class and the lower middle class segment of the society are not able to afford houses in the new urbanization that is happening, the new cities that are getting created. Many of the houses are getting built which are high cost houses, and a lot of people cannot afford them. We want to bring housing to a level where a common man can afford a house of his own, can afford a roof over his head, and a place which he can rightly call his home. So Haware Group has been founded with the vision of housing for all. The strategy has now been clearly laid out by the leader of the country, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, that we have to achieve housing for all. Each Indian should have a house of his own. We as soldiers in the development of the nation, people on the ground, have been contributing to this and will continue to contribute to this by making houses for middle class and low middle class people. Second is the business vision. There is something called the blue ocean strategy. There is a red ocean where a lot of developers, you can say 80% of the developers in the market, are contributing to high cost housing. It is a segment of the market where the demand is probably not as high as the supply currently is. There is a different segment of the market, which is the low cost housing sector, in which the demand is much higher than the current supply in the market. So technically, from a business point of view, it makes a lot more sense to be in affordable housing right now, especially now that the government is supporting affordable housing with a lot of new measures. A lot of banks are getting into the affordable housing sector by promoting loans for the lower middle class and middle class population. It makes a lot more sense to make affordable houses where the demand is more and the supply is less, and at the end of the day, that is what the consumer needs. We are all here to provide what the consumer wants. Consumer is the boss in the market. So when consumers need affordable housing, it is an actual need of the market, and we are here to service that. When the leader of the country talks about a target of achieving housing for all with a specific timeline in mind, like 2022, I think it's a very ambitious target to take in the beginning. Having said that, it is surely difficult, but maybe not impossible. Only time will tell us whether we achieve that or not. Although a lot of initiatives are being taken, it can never be enough. We can always do more. But we welcome the initiatives that the government is taking right now. They've changed a lot of things about the business. They have changed the way banking industry looks at the housing loan sector. A lot of people, a lot of customers in the middle class and low middle class are now getting loans at incentivized rates because of initiatives like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is benefiting a lot of first-time home buyers. A lot of initiatives are being taken at the state level to ensure that businesses are run in a much more smooth manner with as less hindrance as possible. A lot of initiatives are being taken to transform the taxation regime, which is very complicated right now, into a much simpler version for everyone to comply and for it to be as easy as it can be. Having said that, many initiatives have been taken, many initiatives have been really successful in a lot of people realizing their dream of owning a house. But initiatives can never be enough. We have to always take more and more actions to ensure that Especially if the target is a house for 1 billion Indians, now that's a huge target. We don't know if we will be able to achieve that, but initiatives have to be taken on ground. More and more initiatives have to be taken. What is most important is we welcome the approach of the government, which is pro-industry or which is pro-consumer. In a way that they want to facilitate trade, they want to facilitate business in terms of making it simpler both for consumer and for the industry as well. The Haware group has always believed in growing exponentially. We always have. The number of houses that we want to build are in not in hundreds but in thousands. So a lot many more projects are being planned. The thing that we want to focus on, we are talking about smart cities at the national level, but what we want to focus on is smart villages. There are a lot of villages in the MMR region, the Mumbai metropolitan region. Now what we want to look at is the MMR region outside of the tri-city of Mumbai, Navi Mumbai and Thane. That is the area, according to us, which is going to grow a lot in the next decade, and that has the highest growth potential in the next decade. So areas beyond Navi Mumbai like Panvel, Karjat, Neral, etc. This covers areas beyond the central suburbs of Thane, which includes areas like Kalyan, Dombivli, Bhivandi. This also includes areas beyond the western suburbs. This also includes villages in the MMR region beyond the western suburbs. Now all of this belt of MMR is ready for development in the next decade. It is currently at a place where it can supply a lot of affordable housing projects, especially with the cost of land at these zones right now, coupled with initiatives like newer transport modes. Now the metro projects are coming up in many of these locations, especially now that Kalyan, Dombivli has become a smart city. Metro project is coming up there. Metro projects are coming up beyond Navi Mumbai in places like Kharghar and ahead of that in Panvel. So newer transport modes, newer infrastructure initiatives like roads, highways planned in these areas lead to a lot of growth and a lot of demand in this area. Any new geography that starts to develop first starts via affordable housing. It is only after this that a lot of higher cost projects come into the area, and the area is truly developed in terms of having social infrastructure like schools, colleges, hospitals, shopping complexes, parks and so on. At Haware Group, we've always believed in a holistic approach where we want to develop a geography completely in a 360-degree way. So a lot of projects that we are planning includes not just houses but schools, colleges, hospitals, shopping complexes, parks and recreation zones, theatres, all of this together, which forms a self-sufficient township or a self-sufficient city, is what we are looking at. You will see a lot many projects coming up from us in the future. We are here for the long run. We are here to focus on affordable housing, and we are here to focus on building projects in a mass way. Contributing to society has always been at the back end of all activities that we at Haware Group are doing. Now I can say this is because of the upbringing that we've had ever since childhood. All the activities that we've taken up have had some sort of link with contributing to society. We believe that the society where we work, where we do projects, where we earn a livelihood, it is an equal duty and a responsibility on our part to contribute back to the society in all the ways that we can, through our efforts, through our time, through monetary initiatives or any other kind of initiatives that we want to take. So secondly, it's a fundamental belief that everything we earn does not belong to us alone. The society has a share in what we do and what we earn. The society which has taken care of us, the society in which we live, the society in which we grow, we should take every attempt and initiative to try and contribute back to society as much as possible. This is our fundamental belief at the Haware Group. To mention some of the initiatives that we have taken for contribution to society. When I was working at the Haware City project in Thane, I was very deeply involved with the laborers who work at the project. One thing I realized is that these laborers make houses for us. But after the completion of one site, they go to another site, and then another site, and then another site. they are basically nomadic people, and because of this their children never get educated. Because of not getting educated, they grow up and become laborers at construction sites themselves, because that is the only lifestyle they have seen. At Haware Group, we took this initiative of making schools for the children of laborers at our sites. Now, this contributes to the life of a laborer in a very different way. One, he is working at the site, he is earning his livelihood. Secondly, his children are getting education which they would have otherwise not got. So, to contribute to this, we have the support of all our staff, our architects, consultants, engineers, everyone. So by contributing their time, they interact with these children and incentivize them by giving them fruits or chocolates or things like that, which the kids would like to come to school for. They take turns to do this, and every day you will find one or the other consultant or contractor or engineer getting some fruits or sweets for the children. That is why they come to school. And through this education, if we can empower some of the children to grow up in their life and take up higher level jobs, and again in their own way contribute back to the society and nation building in their way, that gives us a lot of satisfaction, and that gives us a feeling of having been able to contribute successfully to society. So the first initiative that one initiative that we undertake is building schools for children of laborers, and we follow this at each and every project of ours. One more thing I realized while working at Haware City project is that labor health is affected a lot by the kind of water they drink. I happened to realize this by chance when I used to go through the daily attendance records of each and every laborer and find out as to why some days the attendance is low. This led me into an inquiry into the health of laborers and the reason why laborers fall ill. The number one reason was the kind of water that they drink. So we have set up a reverse osmosis or an RO filtration purification plant for drinking water at all our sites. Now what this does is it gives clean and pure drinking water free of cost to all the laborers. It's an initiative we undertake to ensure that all our laborers are healthy, live a good life. At the same time, they contribute back to their work, and the workforce strength also increases. So it's a win-win situation where we are able to contribute to the laborers, they are also contributing back to us. Another thing we realized is that people who work at construction sites cannot afford to visit a doctor or cannot afford to buy medicines which are costly. So we have a doctor visiting all our sites to inspect the health of laborers twice or thrice a week depending on the demand, and the laborers are treated right at the site for any illness, and they are given medicines free of cost. So that is another initiative that we undertake. We take a lot of social initiatives apart from the construction sites also. We have built up a lot of public libraries where a lot of people can access these libraries, get books free of cost. Now this is used a lot by children studying for their 10th standard or 12th standard exams. A lot of people cannot afford to buy all the books that they are supposed to buy. So we built public libraries for these kids to go to and take books from and study. One book which is bought in the library helps at least 10 or 12 children through the year. We contribute in a lot of other ways by helping a lot of NGOs in the needs that they have. Many NGOs need ambulances. By helping tribal people in their healthcare, or people in the lower middle class, lower class of the society in their healthcare needs. We believe contributing to society is not over and above our responsibilities, part of our core duties as a citizen, and only if we contribute to society can we dream of our nation empowering itself and becoming a superpower in a few years to come.